Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Breaking Free Show. And I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. And I am honored. I know that your time is precious, and thank you for sharing it with us. So before we get started, I want to say hi to Amnon. You're
Hello.
so busy over there, aren't you? How come you're not ready? What are you doing over there?
You talking real fast.
I'm talking my New York fast. How are you?
Everything is fine.
Good. Good,
After
good.
last night, this is beautiful.
Oh, the weather, the
Mm.
wind.
The
Oh
wind,
my
the
God.
rain, it
It,
was just
it was, but it was beautiful
it
too.
was okay.
I sat on my porch for the first time in my new little townhouse, and oh my God, it was just beautiful. Not when it was raining, of course, just when it was windy.
Oh,
But anyway, all right. So I just want to remind everyone out there to please feel free to call in anytime you like, and you can do that at 919-518-9773. That's our phone line. Anytime you have a comment, a statement, a question, please feel free anytime. And then also we have a chat. You can join us there, and that's underneath our video. Just put your name. It could be your nickname. I don't care. And just come on in there too. And you can also join us on Skype at computers, that's plural, the number 2K voice. Also, from anywhere in the world, we'd love to have you join us. And just today is going to be one of those conversations that, I love to have. And some of you out there have been with us before, you know that. And for those of you out there that are new, we're just going to kick back and chill out and have a conversation. And I have my friend here with me today, Angie Rippin. Hey, Angie.
Hey, Marilyn.
How are you?
I am doing great.
Good. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
So Angie and I, we were talking last week, and we started this conversation about success, and it was a really good conversation. So I wanted us to talk about it here. But before we do that, just tell everybody what you do,
Oh gosh, what do I do?
which really precipitated the conversation, right?
Right.
Okay.
I have a background in health and wellness. So I was a fitness instructor for a few years, as well as helping people with nutrition. I dislike the word coach for this, type of thing, but I was aiding people in improving their health by changing their nutrition habits. Along those lines, about 5 years ago, I got involved with a direct sales company called LifeVantage, and just recently moved to the area about a year ago from the Midwest. And so I've spent the last, oh gosh, about 8 months now, really going around and educating people on what's available for preventative healthcare as well as anti-aging, and kind of where medicine is headed in the future.
Perfect. So because of all of that and moving to a new area,
Mhm.
things have started to explode for Angie, right? And so because of that explosion, we it led us into talking about success. And success is a big word, and is takes us right out of our comfort zone. And I don't know why success is not part of our comfort zone, but it should be, could be, and will be. And maybe for some of us it is, but there's always that, sometimes there's that lingering thing. So you brought up the conversation about success, and I loved it. So what were you sharing with us? Bring everybody in to
Right.
our conversation.
We were just kind of doing a roundtable discussion and got to talking about, what everybody's been up to, and really sharing our wins with the group. I think a lot of times we struggle sharing those wins with other people. I think we're so ingrained to think that, kind of the woe is me and getting through the struggle all the time, that we forget to share our successes and our wins with people. And I think that that's super important. But where the conversation went then was I asked a question. Marilyn, working with other clients, had you ever come across this idea that people get to a certain level of success or to a certain point in their journey that they get stuck? That maybe they're afraid of what's next or what's to come, and kind of this idea of maybe they're not ready for success, or maybe it's too big, or any of those topics. So that's, I guess, kind of where we started down the path of the conversation.
Well, it's funny because success is something that is there's a big unknown in success. not so much in maybe failure or being fearful about something, but in success, there's this unknown of how you're going to do it, how you're going to get this. So it's almost like we have a fear of it before we actually even get there. Because once we get there, it's like it's great, but it's that impending thing. And so I really want to talk about it. And I would once again welcome anybody out there who wants to call in. Please feel free, because I know we all touch upon this subject in our lives in multiple ways, whether it's business, whether it's marriage, whether it's children, it doesn't matter. I mean, that word comes into our life in many different places. So let's have this conversation and see where it takes us. So I did a little PowerPoint just to have us some quotes that will help inspire us in different ways. So success, yay! All right, next slide. Thank you, Amnon. Okay. Success is not final failure. It is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So we were talking about that, right?
Right.
Go ahead. Tell them what you were saying.
So I basically was talking to the fact that, it's a journey, it's a path, it's a continual piece of the story that, once you get there, like you mentioned earlier, once you get to a certain point and you taste some of that success, it makes it so much easier to move on. But, like I said earlier, it is getting to that point and kind of, it seems like there's almost like little obstacles and hurdles that come up along the way that we sometimes excuse ourselves out of it. And, maybe it's the fear. It truly can be this pit of the stomach fear of, oh my gosh, I am successful. So what does that mean? And who am I at this point then? And
is it like, who am I to be successful?
I think that is part of it. And I think, there's a lot of personal growth and change that has to happen to, get certain levels of success. I think because of our upbringing and because of our mental training along the way, we've been taught certain things, and so we accept certain things. And to maybe attain those bigger levels and those higher successes, we need to retrain ourselves, and we need to be willing to change and to grow. And sometimes that leads to some tough choices.
Marianne Williamson has the thing about who am I, not to be, who am I to be, what is that poem? I can't even remember it, but who am I not to be successful? I mean, there's nothing enlightened playing small, basically, and we're all deserve to be successful. And success in what? Success in baking a cake, success in losing weight, success. I mean, if we measure our successes in increments, even small things, as opposed to we have to wait for this big, humongous thing to happen to be successful, oh my gosh, what a waste of a life. We might as well notice all the things that we can be successful. If you get up in the morning, you got up early today, and usually you get up late, but you got up early, and that's a good thing. That's successful. Anything that we can do to be successful is, a feather in our cap. And I just want to also say out there that Garrett is on, and he says, "Hi, Mom."
Hello, Garrett.
Hi, Garrett, honey.
Oh, yep, that's my oldest, and he is homesick from school today, so I told him to hop on here.
Isn't that interesting that on a day when you come and join me here, Garrett's homesick, right?
Yep.
Hey,
Not
Garrett,
planned.
how old is Garrett?
Garrett is 12.
Garrett, boy, I'm impressed that you're on here. Good for you. And here's what Chris is saying. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? We are children of God, right?
Right.
And, our success gives other people permission to be successful too.
Right.
Isn't that good?
That is absolutely true.
I mean, and so why are you saying that?
Well, you know this. Shortly after Marilyn and I met, I got brave one evening after a glass of wine and volunteered to speak at a women's event. And Little to my knowledge was it to become a very personal testimony to a story of success, but as well as failure, and really gaining that, I guess, courage to ask for, there's this idea of asking for what you want and need in every aspect of life. And, if you are to be successful, you do need to ask for help along the way. And I had struggled with that for quite a time. And so I stood up for 10 minutes and cried behind a podium for
Cried for 9.5.
right. But the really cool thing that came out of that was the comment that was made afterwards was that plenty of the women in the room felt that I had given them the permission then to be vulnerable for them to ask for success, ask for help in their own journeys along the way. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so that is being successful. I mean, when you came down off that podium and you had cried for 9.5 minutes, and I mean, that was really successful. That was a successful event, and that was a successful Angie. Then that was terrific. And we all felt a piece of her success, and we all felt successful because we had all contributed to her being up there and shared in the experience. So, that's another thing I think is important for people to acknowledge, is that your being successful does not eat up the success that is out there. There is plenty of success. And my success, as we just mentioned, it only breeds more success. The success pie just keeps getting bigger and bigger. My piece does not make your piece any smaller, really. In fact, if my piece is huge and you do something that my piece causes your piece to get huger, yay, Here's to it, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's what breaking free is all about. So can we see the next slide? I'm done. Thank you. Success isn't just about what you accomplish in your life. It's about what you inspire others to do. And what's so interesting about these slides? And I did not time them based on what Angie was going to say or what I was going to say. I mean, because who knows what either one of us are going to say? Because if you've watched me before, I don't know what I'm going to say either. So how can I do a slide based on what I was going to say? Never's going to happen. What were you going to say?
Oh, I think that's so imperative. I mean, I've seen so many times from in the fitness industry as well that, when other people have wins and they have their successes, that just, it pushes everyone. The gym that I used to teach at, I was an instructor at back in Iowa. It was a very family focused tribe, basically, that, everyone was there to push everyone else along. And, it's kind of this no man left behind philosophy that, we had coaches and we had trainers, but everyone there acted in some fashion as a coach or trainer to make sure that everyone was able to, come up to that next level together. So,
yeah, and it's important that we all toot.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of tooting that horn so that we all get inspired from each other and, and just for our own self-satisfaction to toot. My tooting, again, does not make your tooting any less tooting. It's important that we all share. I mean, who's going to want to come to a coach, i.e. me, if I'm not telling you that I am good at it? Who's going to want to go to Angie if she doesn't tell you she's good at it, knows her product? Nobody. And the same thing for anything in our lives. And or being a successful parent, this comes to my mind too. That's an important role to play. And if we walk around, if you are fortunate enough, blessed enough, and have children and want to have children, and you walk around feeling like the world has come to an end, which sometimes it feels that way, and you eventually are able to pick yourself up and feel that success, even if it's for a day, it's important to let people know, because our children are inspired by how we feel. Even if you're not a parent, you're an aunt, you're an uncle, you're a teacher. You touch a child's life. It is important to pick ourselves up and acknowledge those successes so that our children have a path to walk. What's your thoughts?
I think that's absolutely true. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing your children succeed. And, if you can be a positive role model for them, and be successful in your life. And kind of going back to your idea of tooting, let them know that you're successful. Let them know what you've accomplished, and help them then to accomplish, even little things in their life. I think the cool thing for children is just the smallest little wins mean the world to them. So, I think there's just in general parenting, there's so much pressure that comes with that, especially in today's age, that we tend to forget that they're kids. And I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on our kids to attain certain levels and get their grades and play the sports and be in all the different things, that we forget that they are kids. And, I mean, think about a toddler. They start walking. That's a success. They get to kindergarten. They can read and write. That's a success. I mean, they don't have to be the all-star at everything. I think we need to absolutely focus on, celebrating those small successes with them and for them, to, I think there's a change that needs to happen with parents and kids, and that could be a whole other
Well,
topic.
but that's an interesting
yeah,
thing, because your son is here, right?
yeah,
And I know that, sometimes distance is there, right?
yep.
And your son is here, which he's adorable. I can't wait to meet him when he comes and visits. And he says, that's my mom. I'm going to cry, actually.
Oh no,
So
I'm gonna
hold
cry.
me back. Hold me back, people. I mean, because, sometimes it's important even for somebody else to count your successes for you.
Right.
Because sometimes we don't see them.
Yep.
So here's a young boy who's 12 years old. He's homesick, and he says, he's talking in the chat. Everybody out there should come into the chat and talk to him, because he's adorable. He says, that's my mom. I would go to her if she wasn't good at it.
Oh. He's so sweet.
And he
Thank
says,
you,
again,
Garrett.
he says, she's my mom.
Yep.
So that's a really sweet thing, isn't it?
It is.
Because there is distance, and to be able
Yep.
to be able to create a relationship with your children, even at a distance,
Yeah.
is a successful
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, thank God for technology right now.
So
So,
can you?
yeah, I'll
just a
briefly,
little bit.
because otherwise the
Yeah.
waterworks. We all know I'm a crier at this point, so let's just.
Well, now I'm crying.
Oh shoot. So no, I live here in North Carolina, and I have 3 boys, and they are currently living in Iowa with their dad. We had to make some tough choices when my husband's job got transferred out here, and so it was a long process of kind of figuring out where everyone was going to be at the time. So right now they're in school in Iowa, and we are here, and luckily we get to spend some time, as much as possible back there with the boys, and they get to spend as much time out here as
But
possible.
you do. I mean, you stay in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, it's easy. Sometimes not easy. Sometimes it's very complicated
Yep.
and hard to keep those balls rolling.
Yes.
And sometimes it gets the better of us, and you just want to run away. I mean, we've had those experiences, those life traumatic experiences, and you just want to run away. But I honor you, because you picked up the pieces, and you're as if you're there every single day.
Yeah.
And your son definitely
Yeah.
is proof of the pudding. And
Yeah.
what does he say? Just got to make that clear. Oh, and he keeps saying he's really proud of you.
Oh.
Garrett, you can call in
Oh.
if you want. If you
Oh.
got a phone, 919-518-9773. Give us a call, honey, anytime. And that goes for the rest of you, 919-518-9773, or computers, 2K Voice on Skype. And you certainly can join our chat. And it's just very sweet in there. Any stories you have of success, because it certainly is inspiring to me even when I hear the struggle. Because I know we're human, and I love the struggle. I think the struggle is what makes us. It's what makes us human, and it's what makes the successes juicy. And you can't get to the success without the struggle, right?
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
and I guess I was kind of going to speak to that, and it's funny. Again, I have this. None of this is scripted, so this is perfect. But I was just going to say, I think for me personally, I was getting complacent with my level of success and where my business was. And, being here and having to be away from the kids, I'll be honest, it took me a few months to kind of wrap my brain around this, but that has pushed me to want to be so much more successful. And oh, I think he's calling. But yeah, no.
Hello?
Hi, buddy.
Is that you, Garrett?
Yeah.
Hey there, honey. Yes.
Oh, hi, bud.
What do you have to say to your mom? Yeah, turn
Oh.
down the
I
computer,
love you,
honey.
Mom.
Love you too, buddy. Hey, turn your computer down. Turn the volume down on your computer or on your iPad.
Oh, it's not. I'm watching on my phone and calling on my phone.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I'm trying to watch it as I'm on it, so that's not working
It's
very
not
well.
working. You should stop watching.
So what do you have to say to your mom, honey?
I'm proud of you, Mom. You're on TV. There's only 4 people watching, but you should still be proud.
Oh no, honey, there's more than four people watching.
Yeah.
There's 3,000.
Oh, it only says there's 4 people watching.
Oh
Never
no,
mind.
sweetheart, there's almost 4,000 people watching.
Oh, wow.
They're just not in the chat. But at this moment, there's almost 4,000 people watching. So what is success? What do you when you think of success, what do you think of? Is that
Winning something.
Winning.
Or like winning something.
like what have you won lately?
Oh, good question.
So will you think about the
Okay.
answer?
I can't really think of anything
Okay.
that I've won lately.
Okay, but winning is something is success, right?
Yeah,
Good for you, because that is success. That's
having
good.
a good family is success too.
Yes, it is. That's a very good answer. Any more?
Having 2 little brothers that like to bother you all day, that's a success, I guess.
Yep, and your
Mm.
response is a good one.
Good.
Yes, good for you. Well, you've been you're a smart kid.
I wouldn't say smart. I'd say average.
Average.
Oh, you're pretty smart, buddy.
I think you're pretty smart too, and brave. So what Garrett's done is extraordinary, really. Garrett, let me tell you, honey, it's extraordinary. First of all, you're on the chat, you're
Hello,
talking,
chat.
and you've come on and you've called in. That is that was a chance, and you took a chance. So I want to thank you for doing that. That's tremendous. Tremendous. Good for you.
Yay.
Good for you. Okay, so your mom and I are going to go on with what else do you have to say to your beautiful son? Anything?
I'm pretty proud of you, buddy. That's pretty cool.
All right.
All right.
All right. Keep listening and
I will.
watching. All right, honey. Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Do you think a good part of feeling successful and feeling entitled to success comes from childhood?
I think depending on your childhood, I think if you've been raised in a loving family and if your successes have been celebrated along the way, I think that absolutely can play a huge part moving on. Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
Tremendous. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think I was as conscious when I had my children. I was conscious, but I don't think I was as conscious as I am now as a grandmother. And we do all kinds. I praise them, and I know I did my children, but I really don't think I was as aware of the importance of them knowing that when they're doing something when they've done something good and it was successful, whatever it is, whether they've folded something, took a plate off the table, whatever they've accomplished, it's really, really valuable. So can we see the next slide? Okay. Nothing in the world is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. I like that one a lot
Mhm.
because there's every one of us, every one of you have talent, everyone. And those gifts sometimes just get unused. And it really bothers me when I see people with a gift. And of course, I see everybody having a gift who look at themselves and they put themselves down and they minimize, they poo poo their gifts, they poo poo their talents. And I really don't like that. I have to tell you, I really like it when people honor their gifts, even when their gifts to them seem mundane. And when I think it's huge, and they turn around and they'll say to me, it's no big deal. And I'm like, well, to me, it is. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's really important. So honor your gifts, honor your success, that they honor them. That will be successful. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually just recently having a conversation with a lady last week about this, and something as simple as, you gave the example of a compliment, and as women, I think we're so quick to be negative about things that if someone gives you a compliment on your outfit or on your hair or oh, your makeup looks great, any of those things. And I'm not sure how or why or where we got to this point, but any more people are like, oh gosh, this old thing, or oh gosh, I just rolled out of bed. And it's like, why do women do that to
Right.
themselves? So,
Right.
celebrate that. If
Yeah.
someone gives you a compliment, my goodness, own it.
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah.
Success is an adventure. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
But I know that there are things that I want to do that kind of give me a little lump in like, you know, but it's an adventure. It's an adventure to get there, and I'm excited. And I just think it's just something that we avoid, overlooked, and we don't talk about. And we sort of put it under the rug. But I love talking about these things and making them like real.
Yeah.
So again, 919-518-9773 or computers 2K voice anytime you want. Just call in, tell us your success story, tell us your comments, share anything you want. And for those of you that are listening to us, watching us on Facebook, you too can come to NissanCommunications.com and participate in our show from there if you like, and then you can comment as well, because on Facebook you can't comment. So here we are. The next one, I'm done. Thank you. Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. Aha. Did that ring a bell to you or something?
Yes.
Tell us why.
Well, the other thing that we started talking about last week was, you'd asked the question about, what do I do in the gaps? And I think I kind of probably gave you a weird look as, what do you mean by what do I do in the gaps? I'm like, I don't have gaps.
I asked you that?
You did.
Okay.
And
gaps of time, gaps of action.
And I think, honestly, that's how we snowballed into what we talked about earlier. But, you had kind of said, well, what do you do when you come up for air or take a breath? And I said, that has been part of my stumbling block in the past, is because I head down, blinders on, and get on a roll, and you start to taste some of that success. In the past, I have had a bad habit of then taking my foot off the brake and stopping the action. And with that, then the success kind of slides backwards. And then I beat myself up to a point where now it's not a gap, but a giant black hole. And so then I have to basically start over again. So we were talking about that, now that I've gotten myself to where I'm, having success and having the action and things are really rolling forward. And I'm trying to figure out how to find that balance of taking the breath while not taking the foot off the gas, continuing the action, therefore continuing the success. So I'm working on that balance in my life. And so yeah, it's absolutely hand in hand, success and action. I mean, if you are to be successful, you do need to have action, but there is some balance that needs to happen as well. And we're having
fun here.
I'm hearing myself.
Something funny happened. it's because in that gap, it's where you go from where you're going, where you take a halt,
Mm.
and then you read kind of like quickly. Sometimes you're not even thinking; you're just like acting, reacting, and going in a different direction than where you wanted to go because you. Sometimes we make things up like, "Oh my God, we shouldn't be doing this," or "It's too much, it's too busy, it costs too much, I won't have enough time." All these things.
Yeah.
If you just get through it, it's it's kind of like, have you ever had a moment where you made the choice not to get angry at something, and it's like that's the same kind of gap
Yeah.
where you've thought for a moment and you've made the choice, no, I'm not going to get angry here.
Yeah.
And in that moment there's the energy is magnificent, and you sort of kind of fly, you kind of feel weightless, light, and you're just floating in that moment when you did not do something for something else. It's the same thing when you are making that shift into success and you don't talk yourself out of it, you just go for it, and there's a strength in that gap, and it's a phenomenal experience. And Chris is asking on the chat, so how does someone uncover their gifts and talents? And Garrett's answering.
Oh.
That's fabulous.
That's great.
Oh, everybody, this is just great because he's 12 years old. He's Angie's son. He's homesick, if you haven't heard this. He's in our chat. He's participating. I want him on the show next. Garrett, I want you on the show, okay, honey? So he says, gotta go for what feels right and what you like to do.
Aw.
Now, that's a brilliant statement right there from a 12-year-old. So that's a way to uncover your strengths, to feel and you try things.
Yeah.
You try a hobby and you see how it goes. You eat a new food. That's why I said it's an adventure, because you try different things, and that's the thing about success. Nobody succeeds without failures. Well, sorry, I shouldn't even say that. Nobody succeeds without lessons. Nothing is a failure. It's just another lesson. It's a detour. That's all. Amlan, can you show us the next slide, please? Success is achieved by developing our strengths, not by eliminating our weakness. Okay, it's coming up. Nope, the other one. There we go. Okay. Success is achieved by developing our strengths, not by eliminating our weakness. So that's one way of uncovering your strengths. But every time you do anything, it's a strength.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even something that you have to uncover. It's already there. It's just about looking at things and giving yourself credit for things that you're doing. That's all, basically. And it's everything about, you're already successful. That's the point. It's just putting that already successful into the things you want to do.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you're not successful. You were successful in the fact you tried.
Yep. Also, I was going to say that, again, these quotes are blowing my mind, but I was just thinking right before you put that up, something that I've always found fascinating, and it takes a moment to wrap your brain around this one, but it's I never fail. I either win or I learn. So we're always growing and we're always learning, and I think that's absolutely hand in hand with success.
Yeah, you're already successful just because you try.
Yep.
And trying, if you know me too well enough, you'll know that I do not like the word try, because for me, if you're trying, you're already doing it. That is what doing looks like. So remove the word try from your vocabulary. So Garrett says also, so here's an example of doing something. So example, you want to be an actor, but you don't feel like you're good enough. Just go for it. He says, that's my answer. They probably have better ones. That's a cute one. Now, Garrett, you're terrific.
Yeah.
So here's another one. If you are not successful, that means you're not making enough mistakes. Period. So let's, make I think part of the issue is that we've made mistakes caca. We've made them wrong, as opposed to just a way to get somewhere. It's like a numbers game. You make if you're in sales, you make phone calls. How many phone calls does it take to make before you make that one sale? Maybe 10. Does that mean those 10 are mistakes? No. It just led you to the one that sold that bought something from you, right?
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
mean, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I
mean,
mean, there's something to be said for, it takes a lot of, I know you don't like the word tries, but touches and tries. People, in regards to sales, people don't like to be sold. And so it's education and it's sharing and it takes time and you build a relationship and, you know, you build the trust with people and then it becomes successful. So
that's it. And you just keep doing it. And one mistake, one lesson, who cares what it is? As long as you're doing something, you're in action, you're working on it, you're getting something accomplished. You know, sometimes it's a matter of knowing what you don't want. Sometimes it's a process of elimination. How are you going to get there?
Right.
How are you going to accomplish success if you haven't tried different jobs? And I've said this many, many times. How do you know what freedom is if you haven't been not free? What do you have to compare it to?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You have no clue what it is. So you got to keep going for it. And so let's do the next one. The difference between winning and losing is most often not quitting. That is successful. Yeah, right? If first you don't succeed, try again. That's the point. Just keep doing it. That's all. Success, just keep doing it. And I have this one question. And I'm going to say this, and you can just say this to yourself, and I say this to myself, and I say this to other people as well. What is the worst that will happen? And then again, what's the worst that'll happen? So what is your biggest fear as far as being successful?
Oh gosh.
I'm bad like this. Things just pop out of my mouth and I just let it go.
And I think I've changed a lot over the last, like I said, 6 to 8 months. And I think prior to that, my biggest fear would have said was not being successful or failing. And now I think my biggest fear is, I wake up every single day now, and clearly my life has, had some massive changes. And so it kind of pushes me in a different direction and a different why. But I think now for me, my biggest fear in regards to success is I don't ever want to wake up someday and look back and say, what if? Or I missed it, or I didn't try hard enough, or I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't talk to enough people, or I didn't help enough people. That's where I think for me, that's when I would feel like a failure, is if I hadn't been able to help enough people or change enough lives because I was afraid of getting out of my own way. So that's where I try to focus the energy now. And that's what I see as being successful, is that I have stepped out of my own way and stepped out of my own comfort zones on a daily basis to, every day make little changes to make a big impact.
That's well said. And let's see, I'm trying to think of what is one of my biggest fears. And sometimes I don't know if it's a fear or not. I just know that where I'm headed is I want to be a female version of Anthony Robbins. I want to be on the stage, and I want to coach from the stage, and I want to do those things. And I reflect back on my where I am now, and I wonder, so is there anything that I am doing that is not putting me on that stage? Am I making something up about time? Am I making something up about the action I should be taking? Am I, sometimes, I want to question, am I dotting too many I's and crossing too many T's? And I have to look back and reflect and go, I don't think so. But, you got to look hard to see, are you? Because I'm pretty good at taking action, and I'm pretty good at, being clear about my path. But at the same time, I really do have to sit back and go, okay, am I doing everything that I can do? I think so, because I am, like, sometimes, believe me, I feel like I am so vulnerable when I am doing something that, who am I to do that? And, after all these years of doing all kinds of crazy, out of the box kind of things, I still look at the things that I do and have to say, who am I? I wrote a book. I love my book because I love the men in my book, my first book, in just one afternoon, listening to the hearts of men. And I love them. And now I'm doing my second one, and it's taken me a really long time to get it published. And then, but I'm almost there. I'm almost done getting all the interviews for just one afternoon, listening to the hearts of twins. And I had to think the other day, and before, I really had to think, am I doing anything to hold on to it and not put it there? And I'm hoping not, but I really had to reflect. So anyway, but my book is on Amazon, and the next one's coming. And now this is another thing. I have to tell you this. Do you know I have a lot of guests on, and for the longest time, I never mentioned anything about anything that I did as far as my books, workshops, anything, nothing. It's only been within the last few months that I'm doing that. And I had to really step into another place to say, okay, I'm worth saying these things that I'm doing. And I'm worth coming here and saying it, even to my own show.
Yeah.
So here, what is it? Okay, Garrett. Oh, Garrett says, no, you lied. Garrett said you lied.
I lied.
That's not your biggest fear.
Oh.
You know what he says your biggest fear is?
Yes, snakes.
That's what
You asked about fear of success, though, so I didn't. Although I guess if someone puts a snake on my desk, I'm out for the day. So
Thank you, Garrett. We all need our
little
children around to keep us
stinker.
straight.
Yep, that's it.
Oh, Garrett, thank you. You have to come on again really soon. Don't
Aw.
leave. But it's true. There's so many things. I mean, that you want to kind of bite the bullet on and do, and it's like, I've been talking a long time and again about doing a workshop and a listening workshop, and I'm doing one, and I'm doing one May 19th. It's going to be here in Raleigh. Anybody from our state can come. It's going to be from 1 to 9. It's going to be a blast. It's called The Listener's Quest, a journey into the unknown. Because if you're listening, there is definitely the unknown. I mean, you have no idea where it's going to go. So it's like it's just an open free-for-all kind of thing. But it's going to be a fabulous event. It's going to be with a talking stick and a sound bath and music and light and all kinds of great stuff. So if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Contact Marilyn at marilynshannon.com, and I will give you all the information on where it's going to be. And its seats are very limited, so please join us. All right, could you do the next one on that? All right. Success consists of doing the common things of life uncommonly well. What do you think that is, Angie?
I think that's absolutely true. I mean, I don't know that there's anything on a daily basis that I do that is anything outside of the norm, but it's honing in on what your skills are, focusing in on your strengths, and then just doing them over and over and over again until you are, be the expert in whatever it is that you're doing. And doesn't mean you're doing uncommon things. You may be, maybe you're a chef. Become an expert in doing something really well and just do it over and over, and that will make you successful. So, for me, I was trying to do all these different things and juggle all these different, balls, and it finally came down to, what am I really good at? What am I passionate about? And that's fitness and nutrition. And so now that I've really focused in on teaching and educating and sharing those items, that's where I've seen kind of the path change and the doors basically open, because I've been focusing on the everyday common things and just doing them uncommonly well.
Well, it's interesting because it's sort of, it's uncommonly well is an interesting, thought. I have to read this again. Success consists of doing the common things of life uncommonly well. It's interesting because uncommonly well means commonly well would be in my box.
Mm.
Uncommonly well, I think, is out of my box. And so I would have to come out of my box to do them uncommonly well.
Yep.
And that can happen in a flash. And so you have to take a chance, because a chance can happen just like that. The spark comes and says, "Oh, do this," or "Do that," and you can't. And you just have to go with it, not judging, no judgment. Just go with it. You can always correct it later. You can always say, "I'm sorry, I didn't." You know how many times I've stood up in front of a group of people and went, "Oops," like here. How many times have I said something that I'm like, "Oops, my mouth said that." Oh my goodness, and I go, "Oops," but oh well, I'm human, and so I'm going to say things sometimes, that aren't going to come out right. Or sometimes I might hear myself go too many ums. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't like that either. But we're human, and that's part of the fun of being human and success machines. The next quote I want to put up there, and I want Amnon to comment if he will. So, failure is nothing more than a chance to revise your strategy. Because I think Amnon, in what we do, has very often had to revise his strategy. Is that not correct?
You have to revise your strategy on a daily basis.
Okay, tell us why.
As long as the goal stays. You want to drive to New York. You say, okay, I'm going to take 95. And you start driving and 95 is blocked. What do? You take a different route.
Yeah,
you go
turn
around,
on
you
Waze.
turn right,
I turn on
you
Waze.
do this, you do that, you stop.
Yes.
Before you know it, it took you 15 hours to get there instead of 8. So what?
That's right.
But and we learn, I think, from all these turns that we take instead of going just straight the way that we said.
Right.
We decided we're going to, if I said I'm going to do it with an IBM PC back in 1983.
The show you're talking about?
It won't work.
Right.
You have to revise, and things change around you.
What do you think is your most successful trait or
Mine?
talent? Yeah.
Oh, there's no,
one of them. Come on.
No, the main one.
What is it?
Waking up every day.
Why is that?
Because you have another chance at doing something new.
And so every day you wake up with a smile on your face, like ready for the day.
I don't think that I ever wake up without a. I don't think. Are there people that wake up without a smile on their face?
Well,
is there such a thing?
I don't.
No,
it's
you
possible.
don't.
See how interesting life is.
You have to have a nightmare in order.
You see
to
how
do it.
interesting. You see how interesting life is. That's great. Okay, so waking up every day.
That's an accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
It's a goal.
It is.
It's an accomplishment.
It
So
is.
you already a success because you accomplish your goal.
Yes. Yes.
I was
it's
always
true.
told, don't put goals ahead of you that you cannot reach, because then you're going to feel like a failure. And it's
well. Okay, so here's the thing. If I put a goal out there that I was going to become the president of the United States, that might be ridiculous.
right. You see, and that's
okay.
what
So that's
I want to fly. I can
without
try
a
all
plane.
day long. It's not going to work.
Right. So you got to be realistic about
Yes,
that.
you got to be
thing.
realistic.
Well, I don't even know if you call. What do you
so
call
maybe
it?
that's a better way of saying it.
I don't know if it's realistic, or I don't know what you call it, but
Attainable.
yeah, I mean things that are like attainable. But again, because we can surprise ourselves. Now I am not, but my inkling is not to be the president of the United States. So there's no reason I would put that as a goal. What is your goal? Is your goal to, if you like to cook and you want to cook at a 5-star, who says you can't? Right? But my goal would never be to be president of the United States. So I would never have that. I can't attain something I don't want. There's the thing. Oh, God. Let's not go there. We know what happens when we do. Trouble. What is your most successful trait?
Oh, gosh. I think part of it is, and I struggle with describing this, I guess. I've been asked this before. But I think I'm really good at I'm really good at individualizing people as far as I try not to put everybody into categories or brands or boxes, I guess, per se, but that each person is an individual and each person has different needs and wants and dreams. And, I really try to focus, as far as from a health aspect,
Forget to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So, from a health aspect, I really focus on the individualistic goals and what's going to work best for them. Not, maybe what works best for everyone never works best for everyone. So, how to specialize, I guess, for each individual person.
Now I gave myself a few minutes to
Yeah.
think. There's a method to my madness.
Yes.
I'm not stupid. I mean, my mother did not raise a stupid person. What is my most successful one of my most successful or my most successful traits? I think is my willingness, or not my willingness, but it's just who I am. I think about giving people chances. I think that's, or not, I don't know, that sounds wrong, but to see the best in someone and to be able to help encourage that best. And I see the best and good and great in in people. I think that's one. And I think the other thing that I feel is hope about pretty much everything. My path is just hope. So, or a positive way of seeing things. I see the positive far greater than I do the negative, and I can come out of that pretty fast. Your son says you are his role model.
Oh.
How about that? So tell everybody, just for a moment or so, where they would find you, what they would find if they want to use you, buy you, and all that kind of stuff.
Buy me.
Buy your product.
Buy me. No, so on Facebook it's Angie Rippin. Instagram, same thing. But as far as a website, it's rippin.lifevantage.com, and that's the company that I work with. And what we focus on is cellular health, so activating the cells to support healing from the inside out. So all of our bodies, we're absolutely born perfect and amazing, and our bodies have the ability to heal themselves if we give them the right tools and the right resources. As we get older, our own natural ability to heal starts to diminish, and that's why we age.
So do you have a website?
We do.
Okay, so
Yep.
do you have your own personal website?
I do.
Okay.
Well, it's a corporate website
Okay.
that, they provide us a corporate website. It's a direct link to my piece of it, though.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So and they can so just quick.
Mhm.
I'm taking a product of Angie's, actually, which is a anti-inflammatory, which I can move my fingers really well because I had surgery. I've been swollen and I do have a problem with inflammation. So that's one of the products that Angie has, and it's terrific. So,
Yeah.
so if they want to talk to you personally, can
Yeah.
you share your email?
I can.
Okay.
It's Rippin, so RIPPIN.LFVN. So Larry, Frank, Victor, Nancy, I believe, at gmail.com. And that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. If you go to the website as well, there's a direct contact link on there. But I mean, Facebook, shoot me a message. Yeah, I love chatting with people. And like I always tell people, even if I can't be the resource directly, I will find that person for you. So, what's most important to me is helping everyone to feel their best and be as healthy as they can be. So that's what we do.
Perfect. And Angie is very successful at this. So give her a call and ask her your questions. Once again, we have a few minutes left. 919-518-9773 or Computers 2K Voice if you have a question or comment, statement, whatever, for Angie or myself or Amnon. We don't want to leave Amnon out. And you can still partake in our chat. We'd love to have you anytime, always. We have our show every week, Mondays at 1:00. I am always interested in new ideas and things to talk about, so please email me at Marilyn at marilynshannon.com. You can also find us on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram. Look for Marilyn Listens all over the place because that's my thing. And we'd love to hear from you anytime we can. You have a comment? I'm none. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, my God. He's so good. All right. Constant Contact is eye contact. Sorry. Eye contact. Whoops. Eye Contact is my email marketing company that I use. I like them very much. They are helping me in all kinds of ways. And if you do anything with email marketing, building your list, you have a business and you need to build your list. You're a solo entrepreneur. You need to build your list. You need to stay in touch with your list. Eye Contact is a wonderful organization. Just reach out and use the code Breaking Free and they will help you. So in our final time here on the show, what do you know now about success? Because since Friday, we've been immersed a little bit in this conversation.
Yeah.
So do you have a gap now?
I'm working on
You're working on not having a gap.
Well, I'm working on actually inserting the healthy gaps, because like I said
healthy
before,
gaps.
I tend to, like I said, I really get the blinders on and head down, and when I see what I want and I can see that next step or that next goal, when it becomes in sight, I become a little insistent on getting there as quick as possible. So I'm trying to find those healthy gaps. Like I absolutely am fascinated and work every day on personal growth. So I've been, so I checked out some books. I got a library card on Friday after we spoke. And so I got a couple of books and I'm going to use that time to kind of just take my mind down for a moment and focus on me. I focus so outwardly most times that it will be a chance to focus more on growing me so that I can continue to be successful, because I think if I stop learning, then the success will kind of find an end as well.
That's a very important point in being successful, is taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Self-preservation, self-care, self-love, all those things. It gives you energy. It gives you get up and go. It is extremely important to feed your soul, to feed your mind, to feed your body. And I love the idea of the reading thing. Yeah. I think it's really important. And I'm listening to audiobooks now for that same thing, because I can't sit and just read. But when I'm in the car all the time, I'm just listening to audiobooks and I'm loving it. It's another extension of fun.
Yeah.
Fun. Let's leave the note. Let's, on the show, let's leave the final note about fun.
Yep.
Got to have fun, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's for success. I think it's really important because you need it all. To be successful, you have to have fun. And to have fun, you need to be successful. You can't have fun if you're not going to be successful. It doesn't really work that way, and you can't be successful if you don't enjoy your life and have fun and be with your family. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
It all feeds you. You can't have one without the other. There's no success if you can't enjoy it.
No,
right?
Very true.
And if you can't have fun if you don't have money either.
Yeah. Yep.
It's hard.
Yep.
But you can have fun, that kind of fun. But you can have fun, with small things that don't take money.
Right.
So, it's really important, and that's a successful life. Yep. So I want to thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been great.
It's been really nice having you and your son. I feel like he was on here too.
Aww.
Here's a quote Chris put on the chat. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation.
Yes.
That's Herman Melville, and I think that's a good quote, but I would say whatever you do is original to you. Even there is no real imitation, because you can't do it the same way somebody else did, even if you try. It just doesn't happen that way. You're still going to be original,
right,
no matter what. So with that, everybody, right? Garrett, you've been an angel. I'm so glad you were here. Come again, okay, honey? And when you come to visit, maybe you can come visit the studio too. All right? And Chris on the chat and all of you out there, thanks so much for being here. And we love having you. So have a wonderful day. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.